Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Clarksville's Political Forum. I'm Van Stokes, your moderator for today's session, and on behalf of Leadership Clarksville and your Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce, we're glad once again that you could join us today. Today's forum is coming to you from the facilities here at the Mass Communications Department on the campus of Austin Peay State University. Our forum is intended for you, the voters, to have an informed choice when you go to the polls on August the 2nd. Today, we're going to have the opportunity to talk with the candidates who are going to be on the ballot for trustee of Montgomery County. To my left, they are Ms. Corinthia Elder and Ms. Kimberly Wiggins. Now, in a moment, they will each have 2 minutes in which to present opening comments from their seats at the table. Following their opening remarks, we will then turn to our panelists for questions. Joining us today on my right are our panelists, Mr. Jay Albertia, Mr. Lee Irwin, and Mr. Jimmy Settle. Each candidate will be given 1 minute to respond to each question. Responses will be given in a rotating order. And at the conclusion of the questioning, each candidate will have 2 minutes in which to present a closing statement. Closing statements will come in reverse order from the opening statements. Our timekeeper for this session is Ms. Yvonne Pickering. The trustee acts as a treasurer for all the funds of the county government, including the Clarksville-Montgomery County school system. The trustee is responsible for collecting all county property taxes, keeping track of all money received for the government, and investing the county's money. And in so doing, the challenge is to ensure that the cash is properly invested in a way that will best serve Montgomery County. Hotel and motel occupancy taxes and canine registrations are also collected by the trustee's office. Now let's go to our candidates for opening comments. First, we will hear from Ms. Corinthia Elder.
Good morning. I would like to start off by thanking the unending support that my friends and family have bestowed upon me through this process, and the voters for trusting me with their vote in the May 1 Republican election. Finally, I would like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event and our panelists, Jimmy Settle, Lee Irwin, and Jay Albertia. This is a great opportunity for the public to learn more about my candidacy for this office. Today, you will see a contrast between myself and my opponent. I won the May primary due in large part to my relationships in this community and nearly 12 years' experience as the chief deputy, working with 3 different trustees during my tenure. Republican voters realized they could trust me to hold this office in an efficient, ethical, and conservative manner. I am ready to assume the role of trustee. I'm asking not only my fellow Republicans, but all Montgomery County citizens for their vote on August 2nd. I spent many long hours waiting on customers, working with local banks, mortgage companies, and ensuring our citizens were treated fairly while the county's interests were served. What I will say will be a perspective that only experience can give. I'll talk to you from the heart because what you see is what you get with me. This office is the focal point of much of my life and practically all of my professional career. The trustee's office is too important and has much of an impact on our community's welfare and is too vital to the day-to-day functions of county government to be placed into the hands of an inexperienced trustee who won't be ready to go on day 1. I am proud of the work that our office has done. We have a good staff, and I trust the voters will allow me the opportunity to make it even better. I look forward to this time with you and hope you will learn even more about me and this office to be able to make the right choice on August 2nd. Vote for me, Corinthia Elder.
Thank you very, very much for those opening remarks, Ms. Elder. Next, we will hear opening comments from Ms. Kimberly Wiggins.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Wiggins. I want to extend my gratitude to you for your time and your attention and the opportunity to interview with you for the position of your next Montgomery County trustee. For the past 17 years, I have enjoyed a successful career in banking, where I have served financial services and banks, the top 100. I've served as Vice President, Branch Manager, Regional Manager, and Performance Improvement Coach in the Mississippi River Valley states. Most recently, I was Regional Manager for Capital Bank, where I oversaw 32 branches in Middle Tennessee. I am also partner with my husband and the love of my life, retired Master Sergeant O'Neill Wiggins. We own Wiggins Medical Transit, where we get our clients and our community members to their medical appointments day to day to take care of themselves and their families. I'm also a graduate of Leadership Clarksville and Leadership Clarksville Montgomery County School System. So I am invested in Clarksville and Montgomery County. I will take my banking industry background to the trustee's office. I will use my business perspective, my management perspective, and I'll tell you that I am the only candidate that you will be able to vote for and trust to restore trust back to the trustee's office. I will bring a fresh business owner's perspective, and I will make sure that I manage the trustee's office the way it should be by an effective transformational leader. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Ms. Wiggins, for those opening comments. We now turn to our panelists. Our first question will come from Mr. Jay Albertia, and the first response will come from Ms. Corinthia Elder.
Good morning, Ms. Elder. One quick question to start us off. One of the things that everybody's talking about is the management style of what the trustee's office is going to look like. Can you tell us a little bit about your management experience, your organizational style, and how are you going to apply that to the office?
Thank you, Jay, for that question. I have been working in the trustee's office for almost 24 years. And my experience in the trustee's office as 12 years as chief deputy trustee. My management style has been a servant leader, where I will be assisting the staff in the day-to-day functions and making sure that they are equipped to do the best job possible. I will continue to provide them with leadership and experience that I have over the years, and I will be able to serve the public in this manner.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wiggins.
Can you repeat the question, please, Mr. Albertia?
Yes, everybody's talking about the management style that's going to take place in the trustee's office. Can you tell me a little bit about your management organizational experience and how you're going to apply that to the job?
I have a master's degree in business administration, as well as managing in several states, and most recently managing over 100 people. And what I will say is, even up close and afar, I am a transformational leader. I walk in, I lead by example, and what I've been told over the last 20 years is that the reason why I always get the job when I walk in the room is not because of what my credentials say, it's because I am an effective, firm leader who makes sure that I lead by example and I influence people to follow my lead. So one, I will make sure that I am leading by example, and two, when my team shows up, we have to make sure that we're accountable, we're accessible, and we're honest, and we're diligent in our dealings with the taxpayers' dollars.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lee Irwin, you have the next question, and Ms. Wiggins, you have the first response to this question.
Good morning, Ms. Wiggins. What do you think is the #1 priority of the county trustee's office, and how do you intend to carry that out?
One of the #1 aspects is that we've had way too many scandals in this office. And what I plan to do is, one, open the books. Make sure that you, the taxpayers, know what is going on in the office. We have to be accessible. And when I think about the relationship, so one, that's comprehensive overview, top to bottom of what we're doing. And then next is the relationships in the county seem to be broken. It is not okay not to respond, because when you have our county commissioners and our mayor trying to make budget decisions and trying to grow Clarksville, Montgomery County, it's important that they have a partner in their banker who will answer their questions, who will open the books, and make sure that as we grow, that I'm there to help them to understand what we have, how we invest it, so that we can move forward and continue to grow.
So,
Can you repeat that question, please?
Yes. What do you think is the #1 priority of the Montgomery County Trustee's office, and how do you intend to carry that out?
The #1 responsibility for the trustee's office is the collection of the county tax. The property taxes are the county's primary source of revenue, The entire county's budget is based on what we collect, which help funds local schools, law enforcement, and other county services. The other responsibility of the trustee's office is investing in the county tax revenue. This short-term investment yields millions in needed revenues to fund the local institutions here in Clarksville, and they in turn invest in our community. We will continue to work diligently with the taxpayers and other county officials to make sure that the county's business is taken care of and we are able to function in the capacity that we have been given. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jimmy Settle, you have the next question, and it will be addressed to Ms. Elder.
What was the defining moment maybe for you, if there was one, that led you to decide to seek this office of county trustee? Was there a particular moment for you that you said, I want to try for this?
Yes, Jimmy, thank you for the question. The deciding moment for me was after working in the office for almost 24 years with experience and with 12 years as chief deputy trustee, I believe that the next trustee needs to be someone who understands the day-to-day operations of the office, someone who has been there and has the experience to help the taxpayers with their tax questions and also with tax relief. I will continue to be that person, and I have always been there to help the taxpayers and look forward to serving them, and that is my primary duty and responsibility.
Ms. Wiggins.
So when I think about us as a community, Clarksville is experiencing some dynamic growth, but that also puts us at risk. When we have autonomy, which is what my opponent has said she will continue to keep in that office, it means that we won't experience that growth. And with that in mind, we risk our people leaving Montgomery County. When you think about any decision we make from a financial perspective, the first thing you do is you call your bank. You call your bank and you ask them to help you. When you can't reach your bank, you know what happens? You leave your bank, you move your money. In this case, we can't move our money, we can't leave our bank, but we do need to change our banker. Our banker is a person who needs to be accessible, transformational, and has proven experience in making sure that they lead in a transformational way. I would love to be your Montgomery County trustee because I'll make sure that I work with other elected officials, other departments, taxpayers, and using my securities license and that investment background information to make sure that I go out and seek those dollars for you, the Montgomery County taxpayer.
Jay Alberti, you have the next question, and it goes to Ms. Kimberly Wiggins.
Ms. Wiggins, last round you discussed fraud in the trustee's office. How would you deal with an allegation of fraud in the office, and how do you prevent that?
Well, we know that when someone decides to commit fraud, it can happen on anybody's watch. However, there are processes, procedures, and protocols that are in place that if we followed them, there's no way where someone should have, in a 2-year span almost, stolen $12,000. That's blatant oversight and not doing the day-to-day operations in which my opponent has said she's done. So one is making sure that when we have voids, changes of address, that we're really watching and that we're inspecting what we expect, and also as a leader working from the front. So it's important that when you look at the audit findings we've had, the scandals we've had, and the poor accounting practices, I can bring that management and those accounting practices and make sure I hold our team accountable so that our taxpayers can trust the trustee.
Ms. Elder.
Sure, Ms. Elder. When during that last round, Ms. Wiggins talked about a recent fraud case inside the trustee's office. If you were elected, how would you handle allegations of fraud, and how would you try to prevent fraud inside the trustee's office?
Thank you for that question, Jay. Yes, we had a fraud. Excuse me. There was a fraud in the office. The matter was handled by the current trustee, and the person was let go, and the matter's being handled by the local enforcement and also by the the county attorney. Because of the way I have handled the situation, I have earned the support of our legislators. We were able to detect the fraud, and we were able to handle it in a manner that was conducive to what we have in place. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lee Irwin, you have the next question, and it goes to Ms. Elder.
Ms. Elder, it was mentioned in your opening statements, but what kind of accounting and financial experience do you have, and what makes you qualified for this office?
Thank you for that question. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration. I have also worked in the trustee's office for over 24 years, managing the staff and also assisting with taxes, tax relief, and also balancing the tax aggregate. Currently, we have over $115 million of tax revenue that we collect, and we have been able to keep the tax collection rate very high, about 99%, and we'll continue to work very hard to ensure that the people of Montgomery County have the tax collection rate that they have hired the trustee to do. And I am committed to doing the best job possible for them, the taxpayers.
Ms. Wiggins?
Repeat that question, please, sir.
Yes, in the opening statement, you talked about experience, but what kind of accounting and financial experience do you have that what makes you qualified for this office?
Absolutely. So for the past 17 years, I talked about my banking experience. With that, I've worked for the top two Fortune 100 companies that I've worked for, USAA and Bank of America. And when I work for those companies, I have my bachelor's degree, but I also earned my master's degree in business administration. I'm securities licensed, Series 7 and 66, and I have been a wealth manager to help people build, manage, and distribute their wealth by creating calculations to help them with life expectancy. As well, being a manager for multi-billion-dollar companies, of course you know that means that I'm diligent in being able to look at forecasting, projecting numbers, whether it's loans, sales, servicing, and the business. And we also own a business, so I know how to manage to the penny. And I've also graduated from the prestigious Scott Hawkins University. That's a leadership institute based out of Washington, D.C., where I studied with many leaders around the country.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jimmy Settle, you have the next question, and it goes to Ms. Wiggins.
Thank you. Ms. Wiggins, I would be interested in just kind of learning a little bit about what it means to be trustee. What are the daily responsibilities of being trustee? How much of the job is really hands-on in terms of handling collection of tax receipts and that sort of thing, for example?
Absolutely. So one thing that I will tell you is the major piece when I think of day-to-day is, last I looked, the office is managing about $347 million, and that requires some active management. But with that, I want to open the books up and open up the bidding process. Right now, I'm not sure that, yes, I am sure. I'm sure that all banks are not participating or having an opportunity to participate when it comes to bidding for our money. And when we open it up, everybody wins. The taxpayers win, even in a low interest rate environment. Next, when I think about the tax collection rate, last I found it was around 97%, and while 2% difference sounds small, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So one is making sure that we're collecting the taxes, that we're following up, and on the items where we can mandate and should enforce, that we are doing that absolutely on a day-to-day basis. And lastly, I think about ensuring that we have modern accounting practices in the office. We're in compliance with state laws and regulations, and as well, we're continuing to look at our internal audit controls to make sure that we have a safe A-rated bank.
Ms. Elder.
Please repeat the question.
Yes, Ms. Elder. I was just stating that I would be interested in kind of learning a little bit more about what it's like on a day-to-day basis working as trustee. What are some of the daily responsibilities? How much of the handling of county tax receipts are actually hands-on by the trustee? That sort of thing, if you will.
Yes, thank you for that question, Jimmy. The day-to-day operations of the trustee's office is critical. We continue to collect the county taxes. The tax collection rate is about 98% to 99%, and the entire county's budget is based on what we collect. Every day we assist the customers who come into the office by accepting their tax payments and assisting them with tax relief and tax relief. That is one of the other main functions that we do, which helps ease the burden on the elderly, the disabled homeowner, and the disabled veterans who are in our community. We also invest the county's revenue in short-term investments that yield millions of dollars in much-needed revenue. The bidding process for the county trustee is usually within a 4-year term, and that is usually a very good process that encompasses the investment committee and also the trustee's office and the accounts and budgets office. We continue to do our very best for the Montgomery County citizens.
Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that offer. If you've just joined us, you're watching Clarksville's Political Forum, and in this session we're having the opportunity to meet the candidates that will be on the ballot on the state primary and county general elections on August the 2nd. They are candidates for the office of trustee in Montgomery County, Ms. Corinthia Elder and Ms. Kimberly Wiggins. Let's go to our last round of questions from each of our panelists. Let's begin with you, Mr. J. Albertia. Your question will go to Ms. Elder.
Ms. Elder, we just talked about investments, and we talked about the trustee being the county banker. How do you plan to manage the investments, and would you make any changes than what's happening currently in the office?
Thank you, Jay, for that question. The investment process is mandated by Tennessee Code Annotated. So most of the investment that we currently have are taken care of in that manner. The short-term investments are usually about 2 years, and we invest in local institutions, which in turn invest in our community. The process in place is very good. We'll continue to seek the advice and also the meeting with other leaders and the local business leaders in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wiggins?
Will you please repeat that question for me?
Yes, ma'am. We talked about the investments inside of our county and that the county trustee is truly the banker for the Montgomery County. How do you plan to manage the assets or the investments, and do you plan to make any changes than that are currently in place to the situation that's going on now?
Yes, sir. So one, there is a bid process that has to happen once every 4 years for the banking, the actual banking of that office. However, I've been around the state, I've been to other offices, I've even done business with those offices because at my most recent position at Capital Bank, that was one of my responsibilities, making sure we look for those dollars and help those municipalities. So one, the short version of what I would do is you send out an email to the banks, you invite them to a meeting, you talk about the revenues or the tax dollars because banks want that money. It's good money, taxpayer dollars. Then you actually send the bid out, and then you report out who won and how much they paid for the money. Because at the end of the day, what they're doing is buying our money. We want them to bid high, and we want them to bid appropriately. Then you announce who won. It gives everybody an opportunity to play, and at the end, our taxpayers win, which is what it's all about. So that when our commissioners and our mayors are out there looking to do more business and grow our community, the banker has invested the money well, and then they have some money that we can spend and improve our community.
Thank you very much. Mr. Irwin, your question goes to Ms. Kimberly Wiggins for the first response.
Ms. Wiggins, as trustee, how do you propose to maintain a good working relationship with the county commissioners and other departments to further the goals of the community and Montgomery County?
Absolutely. So first of all, I've already started that, whether it's the people who are in the seat now or even the folks who are running for office. I've spent that time getting to know what's important to them because they have the burden and the responsibility of growing Clarksville, Montgomery County. We've made several improvements, but again, there's a risk. When you don't have access to your banker, that's a risk for all of us in Montgomery County. So making sure that I've gone to those offices, gone to other offices in other counties, what works well, what's not working well, and making sure that I learn from that and make sure that we're good partners. We are all responsible for Montgomery County. My number one interest is the citizens of Montgomery County. As a business owner, as a community leader, and as a taxpayer, it's important to me, and I want you to know that I'll make it my top priority.
Ms. Elder?
The question.
Yes, ma'am. As trustee, how do you propose to maintain a working relationship with the county commissioners and other departments to further the goals of the community and Montgomery County?
Thank you, Lee. Currently, we have a good working relationship with members of the county commission and other elected officials. The financial information is sent monthly. We also meet with the investment committee quarterly, and the entire county's revenue and also investments are reviewed, and we ascertain what is best for the county. We also send emails out, and we have monthly meetings where we discuss various issues that is conducted by the county and addressed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jimmy Settle, you have the final question from our panelist, and Ms. Elder, you have the first response.
To close this out, Ms. Elder, how do you plan to be completely transparent about the handling of collections and other initiatives, for example, to assist to veterans in the community, the various different initiatives that the trustee's office can and is involved in? How do you propose to communicate, I guess, basically with the citizens of Montgomery County?
Thank you, Jimmy, for this question. We plan to continue to assist the taxpayers, especially the veterans in the community. I'm also involved in the Veterans Coalition Group. We send out a brochure each year with all of the taxpayers' notices that inform them of the tax relief program that's available to them and to the elderly and the disabled homeowners. I hope to have the opportunity to meet with the elected officials to better serve the people of Montgomery County and the taxpayers by utilizing social media to also inform them, and also send them texts and other emails that will be able to assist them with to have the information that they need. Also, I'd like to meet in different civic groups and present the information needed on the tax relief and the tax freeze programs that are available to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wiggins.
I think your question was, how do you plan to communicate with the taxpayers in the community? Currently, if you don't know my face or my husband's face, it would surprise me. I'm a member of the Montgomery County Veterans Coalition. I'm very civically engaged. If there's something going on, I'm there. And it's not because I'm there to show up. I'm there because I am invested in Montgomery County and what goes on here. I serve on our Rotary Board. I serve on the Roxy Theater Board. I serve on the Customs House Museum Guild. I teach at the college level. I am a member of the Roxy Regional Theater Board and the Two Rivers Company. So I have my hands in what's going on in Montgomery County. So it's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't spend time talking about Montgomery County, learning about Montgomery County, and listening to voters to find out what they need. So education is key. Spending the time, when we talk about tax relief, spending that time opening the doors, having meetings at the Civic Hall where taxpayers can come in and learn that they can apply for tax relief, whether they're a senior citizen, whether low income, whether they're military, but educating them on what the process and what the procedures are so they can participate as they have earned those rights.
Thank you very much for responding to the questions from our panelists. We now go to our closing comments, which will be given in reverse order from our opening remarks today. We will hear first from Ms. Kimberly Wiggins.
I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you to our panelists who've done this for years on end. And as a citizen of Montgomery County, I want you to know that I want to be your next Montgomery County trustee. I had some concerned citizens who came to me, and after much prayer and consideration, my husband and I decided this was the next step for me. I've given corporate America a lot of my time and talent, and they have given me some great experiences. But I owe it to you to give you some public service, to use this experience and expertise and education that I have, and to give it to my community. My opponent has been in the office, as she said, for the last 3 trustees, yet she's been unable to impact nor influence change. What that means for you is that if you vote for her, you will continue to get more of the same. We cannot afford that in Montgomery County. You heard me talk about leaving your bank. We can't leave the bank, but you can choose another banker. I will focus in 3 areas. That's leveraging my banking experience and knowledge to institute modern day accounting. that's strengthening relationships with our other department heads and leaders, and completing a top-to-bottom review of our current practices. I know that if these goals are implemented by the right leader, under the right leadership, we will learn from our past and we'll move forward with a highly efficient and effective trustee's office. I am honest, I'm experienced, and I'm accessible. Please vote Kimberly Wiggins, August 2nd, your next Montgomery County trustee. Thank you for all of Montgomery County.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear closing comments from Ms. Corinthia Elder.
Thank you. In closing, let me thank the Chamber once again for this opportunity to speak to each of you today. While I am the Republican nominee, I want independents and members of other political parties to know that I want to be the next trustee for all of Montgomery County. I pledge to all the citizens that I will treat you equally with regard to political beliefs and your status in life. As a Republican in Tennessee, there are many advantages, and I will use every advantage possible to make the trustee's office even better. This is particularly important to our ongoing effort to preserve and expand tax relief for veterans, our disabled homeowners, and the elderly. I've promised no jobs or favors to any groups or individuals. My office will not be run by special interests. I will answer only to the citizens of Montgomery County. For the trustee's office to do its job properly, this office must maintain its autonomy. To do that, the trustee must not be beholden to any individual or group. You have my word that I will be this trustee. This is my home. I have lived here practically my entire adult life. My husband Lee and I have made our lives here, had our children in this community, been through life's ups and downs. Clarksville and Montgomery County has been good to me and my family. I've served the people here well, and I hope to continue this service as your next county trustee. I am Corinthia Elder, Republican nominee for county trustee. With real experience and proven work ethics, I ask you to vote for me, Corinthia Elder, on August 2nd. Thank you, and God bless you.
And I want to say thank you to our candidates today for sharing their time and thoughts with us. Ms. Corinthia Elder, Ms. Kimberly Wiggins, thank you very, very much. But more than that, being willing to serve Montgomery County as a Montgomery County trustee. Thank you to each of you. I want to remind you, the viewers, that voting will take place July the 13th through July the 28th. That's early voting. The location will be at the Election Commission office located at 350 Pageant Lane, Suite 404. Also want to say thank you to our panelists today, Mr. Jimmy Settle, Mr. Lee Irwin, and Mr. Jay Albertia. Thank you for those good questions that range from management style to qualifications, priorities for the office of Montgomery County trustee, responsibilities of the office to include transparency and accountability. Thank you very much. And also thanks to our timekeeper, Ms. Yvonne Pickering. And a big thanks to the Mass Communications Department here at Austin Peay for making this broadcast possible. And thank you to the staff of Leadership Clarksville and the Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce who made this forum possible. Until next time, I'm Van Stokes. Thank you for watching.